Greetings and salutations. This is Abe Abdelhadi with The Bitter Truth, where we may not have all the answers, but we're going to ask an awful lot of questions. And for those of you that want to become a bitter pill, you can always jump on to patreon.com/The Bitter Truth. And for a mere $2, cheaper than a black coffee at Starbucks, you can actually become a bitter pill and do your part for the show and everything like that. We definitely appreciate it. Of course, you can also listen for free on Stitcher and iTunes and all the usual suspects. We're everywhere, live and nationwide. KABE. KABE, Talk Radio. My guest today is a friend of the show, Mike Mahoney, who has been a Libertarian candidate for Orange County Supervisor. He is host of Liberty Revealed, one of many shows that he works on, but this is his serious passion project, and I after knowing Mike a little bit, and I could see why. But let's jump right into it. I got him on the phone here. Mike, are you there? I
am here.
Excellent, man. So how's it? How's it? Oh, it's going good, man. Just doing the thing, and have to get to my day job this afternoon and do all of that too. So we're just kind of banging along. But hey, listen, big week in the news, man. Since we talked and kind of exchanged a few notes and everything, John McCain died, and that's been kind of interesting to see the big ton bath he's been getting from the mainstream media. What are your thoughts on McCain before we jump into all of our other stuff?
I tend to agree with the comment, best president we never had. But at the same time, you ask yourself, well, how come a guy that was in the Senate for as long as he was, how come he never did become the president? Like, what were his shortcomings? Now, if you listen to the media after he died, he's like God's gift to the United States, and I'm not really sure that that's true. He seemed to have found some principles here towards the end of his life, but I feel like before that he was your typical, warmongering politician.
Yeah, well, I'm not dancing on his grave. I don't wish people to die. I don't wish for them to get cancer. I frankly don't. It's too bad he got sick. But what pisses me off is the big tongue bath he's getting from everybody. All of a sudden, I hate that tactic, by the way. When somebody dies, all of a sudden the record gets completely scrubbed. And okay, did we learn something from him? Cool, but what did he do? The guy was barely got out of the skin of his political teeth with the Keating Five. He was against the MLK holiday. He was full-throated support of every war we've been in since he got out of Vietnam, and he was supportive of Vietnam even after he was a prisoner of war, and that was a complete illegal war. So the guy's a bloodthirsty maniac, in my opinion. And he had some decency. He was a polite guy. They keep showing that clip of him correcting that lady in the town hall or whatever he was doing when she's like, Obama's a Muslim and he's a Kenyan. And he's like, no, he's not. No, he's not. I serve in the Senate with him. No, he's not. That was cool. Very classy. But so what? You kill millions of fucking people, and you got your manners. That's okay. Obama's a war criminal in the same way. So I agree with you, man. Like I said, I'm not dancing on his grave. A joke I made online the other day was, my father's a prick. Right? When he dies, I'm not going to scrub his record. There's things I learned from him, but we don't talk. So it is what it is. And the same thing with McCain. It's like I'm sorry for his family. He was married almost 40 years to what's her face, and they got kids and everything. And I get it, and I feel bad for them. They lost their father, grandfather. But anyway, man, I think it's been kind of combed over. But I wanted to get your take on it, see what you thought, and his shortcomings running for president and everything. I don't know. I don't think we would have been better off with him as president. I think it's the same corporate gangbang that we've been getting for 40 years anyway. So
yeah.
But anyway, hey, so let's. Go ahead.
The big uproar that I've been hearing is over the White House only flying the flag at half-mast for a day and a half.
Right.
And so I did a little research on that, and pretty standard stuff. You expect Trump to issue an executive order asking all of the federal buildings to do that, but at the same time, it's not required, and a day and a half is considered respectful. And they did that, so I don't see the disrespect there, and I'm frankly not surprised. If anyone doesn't realize that Trump and McCain hated each other's guts, they've been on another planet for a while, and it doesn't surprise me at all that Mr. Vindictive Orange guy would pull that kind of crap at all.
Right, absolutely. See, and that's the thing. Is like when Nixon died, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think the Clintons had everything at half-mast until the day of internment or something like that. I think that's been kind of a unspoken tradition for a while. I think Nixon had it for Johnson at half-mast until they buried him or something like that. So, but again, that's the high-end gossip, right? That's like that. That's like people focusing on this, and kind of gets me into what I wanted to at least start off the hour with. People focus on this crap, but for example, Alex Jones, freedom of speech, that kind of went away. And now these, quote, businesses, because they're a business that can do what they want, well, they're blocking Telesur. They're blocking folks on the left. They're blocking libertarian-minded folks if they say the, quote, wrong thing. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm noticing a couple of candidates that I've been following here in Texas, their friend count isn't growing, right? So their page isn't shut down. But that was the same number it was 3 weeks ago. They're kind of out talking to people. How come their numbers aren't growing? That's kind of interesting. So what are your thoughts that after Alex Jones got the axe? Interestingly enough, his website went up to number 4 in the most downloaded websites last month.
Well, one of the things I've been following closely, because I've been trying to, since the June 5th election, I've been working with the Libertarian Party to get them to understand that the reason the Republicans and the Democrats always have volunteers, they always have cash, is because they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little local clubs that meet on a regular basis, and candidates can kind of make the circuit around those clubs and get their name out there. And we don't have that. So we're working on that. And in doing that, I've been observing some libertarian groups. And what we've noticed is, if you know how Facebook has the ability to post like little GIF comments,
right?
Well, if you can post that, but if it's even slightly like anti-Trump or anti-government at all, and someone likes the GIF, it disappears. It goes away. So
wow.
You post it, you see it, it's there. Someone likes it, so clearly they saw it too. And then it just disappears, goes away. We've been calling it the amazing disappearing GIF. And it's happening on all sorts of libertarian groups. So that's my problem. Like,
it's happening on the left, man. It's not just you. It's happening. It's happening on the left. I heard Lee Camp last week complaining. He's been at about 313,000 followers on Facebook, and for the last 4 months, it hasn't grown. It hasn't gone up a person or dropped by a person. Nothing is being reflected. So it's like it's just like rather than drop his page so that he doesn't bitch about it, like he's not going to figure it out. They're thinking, well, if we don't do anything, then no one's going to complain. And so him, Jimmy, a bunch of guys on the left, and I noticed with the libertarians, same thing. So here's the thing. So one of the debates I was having, because Alex Jones, obviously a prick. I don't like the guy. He's here from Austin, where I live, and whatever. But the Sandy Hook thing, that was bullshit. But here's the thing. It's like, and tell me what your thoughts are on this. If you commit a crime, right? If you commit a tort, like for example, if you post addresses of victims' families, and you're saying that they're crisis actors and they're faking it. Isn't that the same as like revenge porn? I mean, shouldn't we make a law about that versus trying to legislate the guy's freedom of speech rights?
Well, for sure. And see, I think we talked about this once before. To me, when you start censoring anything, good or bad, and when I say good or bad, you could put that in quotes, because what's good and what's bad is all a matter of perception. People you talk to are going to say something is bad that you think is good, and vice versa. But that's the entire problem. Is we try to legislate morality, and we try to push to the side people's rights. And my opinion, he has the right to say whatever he wants to say, and if he's saying things that are libelous, then someone should sue him. And I know there are multiple lawsuits pending against him for different things. Sure. And let the guy have his day in court. And you know what? Then you live with the consequences of your actions. But at the same time, as a libertarian, I do look at the businesses like Facebook and and Twitter and Instagram. And of course, that's interesting in that Instagram and Facebook are the same company.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at that and I say, okay, they have a right to take people down if they want to. They do. But I feel like in order for it to be an action that I wouldn't jump on and criticize, they have to make it clear up front what they will and will not accept. Like, to kind of digress a little bit, I have a friend who's a rather attractive looking guy, and his pictures keep being used on Facebook, on fake profiles, to catfish women.
That's me, dude.
And
those
he
bastards.
finds them, and he reports them, and they half the time take the profile down. The other half it comes back and says it doesn't violate the community standards. Now,
Wow.
You got a guy verifying who he is,
Right.
sending in his driver's license to prove who he is,
Right.
and you're going to be like, oh, well, it doesn't violate our community standards. They have to enforce their rules consistently.
Sure.
Otherwise, they're just picking and choosing whatever the hell they want to do. And so taking Alex Jones and taking him off of Facebook and taking him off of Instagram, I think that's bullcrap, because he's doing what everyone else is doing. And let the courts decide, should he have said that, should he not have said that? And if he said something he shouldn't have and violated somebody's rights, he's going to pay for it. But to just take him off of social media when you literally have zero rules about, my God, there's white supremacists that have groups on Facebook and they say some of the nastiest crap you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah?
They don't get taken down.
Well, and Fox, and if we're going to really go after, I mean, like Fox News and goddamn MSDNC, those guys, you know, they literally lie and lie by omission. So who's to determine, you know, the corporate scrubbed, you know, corporate media thing versus, you know, some independent guy who, you know, may not have all the credentials, but he's not lying, and here are the facts, versus, you know, some fucking Nazi guy. You know, it's like back in the day when we were kids, right? Remember that Skokie, Illinois Nazi march and all that, and the ACLU defended them, and everyone got pissed, and they're like, hey, we're not defending what they're saying is correct. And in fact, they could be taken to court for wrongful this and that and the other, but we're defending their right to say it. The Constitution guarantees you the right to say it one time. You suffer the consequences, but you can say it one time. I can yell fire in a crowded movie house, right? I also have to suffer the consequences or the benefit of that. I get the benefit or I suffer the consequences. But see, and I want to back up really quick because you mentioned something that they're a business. They got the right to do it. I think, honestly, they have become the new, Twitter, all this, the social media has become the new town hall. And I think, like Ma Bell in the 70s, they need to be broken up accordingly. Because Alex Jones can still flush a toilet. He still has a phone. He still has a cell phone. No, T-Mobile's not cutting his bill. You know, they're not discontinuing. His internet's not being discontinued. You know, he still gets water. He still can buy electricity. And so to say that these guys are a business, they could do what they want. Well, it's like the NFL and the kneeling thing. Yeah, they're a business, but they're being dickheads, right? And they're moving the goalposts. Those guys aren't saying that the troops suck or the flag's a piece of shit. They're saying, hey, we got a problem, and we're protesting that peacefully. And, you know, it's the same thing about, you know, it's the same kind of issue where people will say, well, it's not convenient, you know, do it when it's convenient. But protest isn't supposed to be convenient. So the whole thing with social media, I think they're a big business that needs to be broken up by Ma Bell, if not nationalized even, if we're going to go that extreme. But to make them a utility, I mean, what do you think? Like, for example, back in the day, phones were a luxury until they became a necessity. Am I wrong in thinking that social media has become kind of a necessity? I mean, you need it for business now even. So is that off base?
Well, I mean, I see your point. I haven't really given that a lot of thought, but I mean, just off the top of my head, I still feel like, I mean, it's like we did talk about, if you remember last time we spoke, we did talk about the baker in Colorado.
Yes.
And how they have a right to either make the cake or not make the cake. And that's up to them to decide. And I kind of feel that sort of applies to Facebook.
Yeah, but the baker in Colorado, okay, I'm sorry.
Well, this is where it gets sticky, and your point makes sense, is that, like I said earlier, there's no rule on Facebook that says you can't lie about somebody else. And it makes sense that there's no rule like that, because how are they supposed to determine that? What are they going to do, hold court?
And they should not. So that should be between the two parties. Right.
Right. Right. So without said rule, what is he violating? He didn't he didn't publish names of people on Facebook. And if he did, great. Take that post down if you don't want it there. You have that power. You make GIFs disappear. Why not make that disappear?
Right. See, but then getting the
that's enough.
See, but getting into the it's a business argument though. This is where like the cake guy, for example, and we did talk about that, the baker in Colorado. He's not the cake monopoly of the United States, right? Those people can go get a cake somewhere else, right? And and they can tell their friends, hey, fuck that guy. I don't care if his croissants are good. We can get him better somewhere else. That's one guy in one place. It's not the entire. It's not a monopoly. And ever since Clinton passed the Communications Act, this falls right into their exemption from antitrust. We're not busting them. We're not busting them up. That's what we did with phones, oil, rail, lumber. We've busted up pretty much every industry in this country because of antitrust, thankfully. And now we've got monopolies that exist without. I mean, Trump a few months back was trying to sue to prevent the Time Warner AT&T deal. His attorneys went in there to prevent that merger. And it was like, didn't they teach you that in law school? They're exempt. They're a communications company. They can do what the fuck they want since 1996. That's it. Communications are exempt from antitrust. That's what Clinton did. And so anyway, that's kind of where, like, again, when I get into the business, it's like, I understand. And this is the defense my friends on the so-called left have been making. Well, they're a business. They can do what they want. Well, you just said that about the right was saying that about the NFL, and you guys are pissed about that. You can't have it both ways.
Well, and they're going to be upset when the same thing starts happening to the extreme people that are on the left. And what's really weird? Okay, Mike, what's really strange? No one's upset. No one's been upset about Telesur, for example, getting shut down on YouTube. No one's been upset about RT getting fucked with or Lee Camp. No one's been upset because it's the corporate left that keeps tongue bathing the business. They're in the same gangbang together. MSNBC and even Fox isn't going to critique Facebook that bad because they're all in the same gig. So it's like even if guys like I haven't seen a lot of outrage on the Fox side about Alex Jones. I guess because this shit is so indefensible. But they're not even defending his basic freedom of speech. Fox. Well, and then you got people saying, experts. I read in one case that he's being sued in that a bunch of constitutional experts did like a friend of the court brief, basically saying that the things that he said are not protected by freedom of speech. I don't know where they get that, but okay. Then the bottom line, I think you may be right about this, because as I think about it, in the industry that I work in the tech industry, and one of the things that we do is we manage social media for large and small businesses. And the three most popular social media networks are Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And so there's only three, but two of them are owned by the same company.
Right.
So what does that tell you? Like that, if that's not a monopoly, when 66% of your choices are controlled by one board of directors, there's something wrong with that needs to be dealt with. But how? How do you deal with it without violating their right to grow as a business? Like, who dictates how many companies they can eat up? Look at what Amazon is doing right now. They're eating up everything.
Again,
they're eating up all the brick and mortar companies.
And they get to benefit. They bought the Washington Post. They get to benefit from the Clinton Communications Act, because back in the early 1900s, Teddy Roosevelt sued the fuck out of everybody. Right? He had antitrust coming out everyone's ass. Rail, lumber, steel, oil, all of them. All of them. He just he regulated them. He broke them up. They had to sell off assets. And you can get into the later parts of it and who was really in cahoots with who. But it was still broken up, and you still created a much more competitive market than what we're seeing in communications today. And this is a direct result of the Clinton Communications Act. I mean, these guys are exempt from antitrust. And it's like, you can be big, but you can't be that big. You can't be that big that you control a media. And this is not a luxury anymore. And by the way, the internet is paid for by the taxpayers. The Pentagon invented it, and it was designed to spy on us. Good job so far. But that's a taxpayer. That's a taxpayer system. So if you're going to monopolize that system with your point of view or your bot point of view, because I didn't see Mark Zuckerberg, crying a river when Bernie got cheated out of the nomination. Right? He jumped right on board with fucking Hillary. Right? So, that's my. I mean, this is kind of where it gets back to my original point. I mean, Alex Jones can still flush a toilet. He can still use his phone. He still has internet. Aren't these businesses, quote unquote, the same thing as those businesses?
Well, you would think so. I mean, I wonder what would happen if he were to turn around and sue them for what they did and claim that they harmed his business and his reputation by doing what they did. Because if you think about it, remember what we were talking about before about it makes sense that they don't have a rule that says, oh, if you lie about somebody, we're going to take your post down. Because in order to determine if you lied about somebody, they have to get involved in arbitrating the situation, and they're not going to do that. So what was the determining factor that said, hey, we have to take this guy down? In my opinion, it's his political leaning. And
100%. That
seems like discrimination on some level. Why is it okay for instance, like, what's her name? Rachel Maddow. Why is it okay for her to post some of the crazy stuff that she posts?
Right.
But he can't.
Right.
I mean, they're both, that's like apples to apples too. They're both media personalities.
That's right.
So why is it okay for her and not okay for him? Well, the answer is that she fits Mark Zuckerberg's politics. He doesn't.
See, but here's the thing, though, too, is that some of the guys I mentioned earlier, they don't fit Mark Zuckerberg's politics. They're not pro-Hillary. They're left. They're progressive. And that's why they're getting fucked with. This is where when the guys on the right, when my so-called liberal friends were all like, yeah, I go, dude, they're going to come after the left. And oh, yeah, but that's, what's important now is he's silenced. Okay, within 2 weeks, folks on the progressive side, not the so-called left, Rachel Maddow still has a presence. She do what the fuck she wants.
Yeah.
Anderson Cooper and all those dickheads, they do what the hell they want. They are the corporate media. They do what they want. So they're one big gangbang. So yeah, but that's my point. Is he left, libertarian, obviously the far right, and not even enough of the far right. God damn it! Like you said, the neo-Nazis still have fucking shit up. I mean, to me, if I'm going to split hairs, I mean, I think Alex Jones is a dick, but I think the neo-Nazis and the skinheads are bigger dicks. And like, it's just this. I don't like billionaire guys. I don't like billionaire guys who stole their idea from their friends to dictate to me what freedom of speech is.
Yeah, that's a good point. And really, censoring anything ultimately leads to censoring everything. And that's a scary thing. Like for instance, I tell my really religious friends who say, oh, pornography should be banned from the internet. Well, then why shouldn't we ban Bible research sites as well?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good stuff.
To you?
That's good stuff. Well, it might be good to you, but it might not be good to other people. So why shouldn't we ban it? Oh, and while we're at it, those sites you have that give like daily motivation, let's ban them. Get rid of them. Let's just sanitize everything.
Sure.
And, there we go. But that's exactly what when people see these issues, I have a good friend who always says, you can count on people to do one thing and one thing only, and that is think about themselves.
Sure.
And that's exactly how these situations pan out. I want it this way. Therefore, I'm going to scream and yell as loud as I can until someone listens, and then I'm going to call that a victory. And then, like you say, a couple weeks later, something they like gets censored, and then they're using the exact argument that was used against them when they went after whatever they went after. And it's so hypocritical, and that's where critical thinking has completely left our society. People don't bother to think things through all the way to the end.
Right.
They just think about the moment, and they're in the moment. I mean, we see it with everything in society. And gosh, go to Costco, and you can't get through the aisles because someone stopped looking at something, and they don't bother to think that, them and their 5 family members are blocking an aisle. They don't care because in the moment, they're getting what they want out of that moment.
Right.
And it's no different with censoring Alex Jones or people on the far left. You create an environment where eventually everything could potentially be sanitized. And that's where, especially as a libertarian, I always tell people that government has two roles and only two roles. One of those roles is to protect us. So, if somebody attacks, not go pick on other countries, but when another country tries to come here to pick on us, we defend ourselves.
Right.
The other role is to arbitrate our rights. And here's why. My rights end where your rights begin. But who decides what that is?
Right.
Where is that line? And if the line becomes fuzzy and you're pushing back and I'm pushing back at you, well, then that's where the government needs to step in and be like, okay, Mike, Abe, here's the line. You guys don't cross that line, and we're going to be good. But if you do, here's the consequences. That's what needs to happen here. The government needs to step in and say, all right, Facebook, you violated Alex Jones' rights. He has a right to be on that platform. He has a right to say the things he's saying. You let millions of other people, probably billions of other people, do the same thing. You can't pick on him. He has a right to do that.
Well, see, and
there you go.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, we're about the same age. So you remember the PMRC, right?
Yeah.
The Parent Music Resource Center. So I used to call it the Bored Housewives Club because what it is, if anybody doesn't remember or know, a bunch of senators' wives, Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife, and I remember just a bunch of squawk boxes. Anyway, they were bored. They were over the ladies who lunch and decided to go after the record business, to censor the record business. And they had, they got a big dust up over rap lyrics and all, and Ozzy Osbourne and all this shit. And, they had these big Senate subcommittee, these Senate hearings. And the strangest set of bedfellows out of all that was Frank Zappa, John Denver, and Dee Snider. Remember that? Yeah. And this is when Dee Snider, Twisted Sister was huge at the time. They were selling millions of records. And so you had Zappa, John Denver, and Dee Snider all saying the same thing. And John Denver, I don't think he could even spell the word fuck, but he was up there going, hey, listen, and this bad idea, which you're going down a slippery slope. And Zappa had his lawyer sitting next to him. Didn't even fucking matter. He just said what he wanted to say. And he was like, look, man, you guys start this machine. And when your point of view becomes out of fashion, the machine's going to roll over on you. And it's 34 years ago, and that was like 34 years ago, and no one's fucking listening.
You bring up that's actually a great example, because if anybody has seen the parental advisory explicit content label,
it's because of that.
That is why it came out. It came out in 1985,
right?
And you think, oh, it's a minor thing. It doesn't affect anything. Well, then the British recording industry in 2011 introduced the same damn concept.
Right.
30-something years later. That shows you how, little issues that seem like they're really inconsequential overall. Like, oh, what's the harm in putting a sticker on someone's CD? Who cares? Well, it spreads worldwide.
Right.
And there you go. You start censoring things in the entire planet. And now suddenly nobody can talk about that issue.
Well, to be fair, I mean, the sticker. The sticker isn't so much a censoring as much as it's a warning. Which I could live with that. I mean, I could live with, okay, if you don't hear the word fuck, don't listen to my show, don't buy NWA records or whatever. I get that. It's like a rating for movies. You're going to see R, you know what you're going to get. You're going to see G, you know what you're going to get. I mean, so I don't mind that so much. It's just the original impetus for that PMRC bullshit was to censor and ban records. That they didn't like. Yeah. And I'm like, that's kind of the machine that we've always, it's not even that we didn't, it's always been a running gun battle. You know what I mean? Ever since Estes Kefauver back in the 30s, was or in the 40s and 50s was going after pornography in the 50s, and the Hayes Act, the Hayes Code. They made the Postmaster General in the United States responsible for movie censorship, and they had this ridiculous code for years. You ever notice why I Love Lucy had 2 fucking beds and they were married? You couldn't show a married couple in bed on TV, and they just started doing that in the movies in the 1950s, that code was 20-odd years, and TV took forever to catch up. I mean, I think Bewitched was the first show to show a couple in the same fucking bed. You couldn't see Marianne's belly button on Gilligan's Island. I saw some interview with Dawn Wells about 5 years ago, and she designed those shorts herself. God bless her heart. But the guy asked her, he's like, so did you have any limitations? She goes, yeah, I wanted them to be flattering, but it was tough because I couldn't show my belly button. That was can't show that. That's nasty. That's naughty. You can't do that. And it's just we have all these ridiculous codes that just is built into this prurient interest. Rather than telling people to fuck off and get over it, if you don't like it, change the channel. We just started doing that maybe 30 years ago. We just keep going and going and going. And the same thing with Alex Jones. If you don't like it, don't listen. And if he did something wrong, like revenge porn is illegal. It is a felony now. Last 10, 15 years. If I put up my ex-girlfriend's stuff online, and trust me, it was an encyclopedia. If I put her stuff up online, I could go to jail. Deservedly so. Because that's a grand mal coward move, right? So, exactly. So the same thing with Alex Jones. If he's saying these people are crisis actors and this and that and the other, well, okay. If he's slandering these people, they should sue him. And if his posting their addresses brings them harm, he should be charged with a crime and sued,
for that, yeah.
Right? And you take your remedies in the courts, but you don't fuck with mine and yours. Freedom of speech. I mean, this is where it's like that kind of stuff should be sacrosanct to anyone with a brain, and anyone these days who wants to tell me that whatever, it's a business and that. Okay, you know what we need to do again? We need to start teaching Fahrenheit 451 in school, not just have it on the reading lists of the school board, but make kids fucking read that book and learn it like we did in civics. Remember when they taught us civics?
Yep.
They don't do that no more. So, stuff like that. I mean, I didn't get it completely when I was 15, but all of a sudden I was 25 years old. Mr. Farber's words rang in my ears. Oh my God, this is what he was talking about. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now.
Well, but to your point about the label, when you put your podcast out, do you label it explicit content?
No, because I don't give a shit. And but on the description.
And guess what? But guess what? If Apple happens to review one of your shows,
right,
and it's not labeled explicit, they will take your entire show off until you go back through and label those episodes that have explicit language explicit. So, point being, the label itself may just be a label,
right,
but if you release the product without the label,
you get in trouble.
The product can be taken off the shelf.
Right.
And that's the really bad part about it.
Right.
Is that, hey, you know what? I get you want to warn people that this isn't safe for work content. Great. But how about instead of, since you have the capability of hearing the explicit content, how about you go ahead and force the label on the content yourself? Why take it off the market? It's this constant struggle with somebody somewhere in some corporate headquarters wants to decide what we should and should not see, hear, read, otherwise ingest.
Right. Now you got to.
And you're right. You're right. We just did on the Nightly Rant. We just did an episode. Oh gosh, maybe this past week it came out, and we talked about indoctrination. And I got a lot of flack for that because I believe my kids are more indoctrinated in school than they are taught in school. And the reason I say that is that, I'll have conversations with them and they'll start telling me, did you know? And then they'll go on this long tirade. And where did you hear that? Oh, well, my history teacher taught us that. Well, in what context? Oh, he just brought it up. Well, he's wrong. That's not what happened.
Or it's half true.
Have you Googled that? Well, no. Well, why don't you Google it? Read some reputable sources and come back to me. And 9 out of 10 times they'll come back and go, "Wow,
right?
He really didn't tell the whole truth."
Right. They leave out half they leave out half the story and they're cute by half. Absolutely.
And then they do it so they can indoctrinate you and get you thinking in a certain direction. Like, okay, I have absolutely no problem with gay people, gay marriage, them having same rights as we have. I have no problem with that at all. But why is it that in school now, for instance, sex education. You're allowed to opt your kid out of that. But where did they put the LGBTQ education? They didn't put it in sex education. They put it in under bullying, because you're not allowed to opt your kid out of that. Yeah, bullying. That's where the curriculum sits.
See,
this
is where. Okay, I don't want to get too far down this road. This could be a whole hour by itself. But this is where, again, it's a baked-in puritanical interest. Because, I mean, first of all, why wouldn't the LGBT, or as one of my guests said a few weeks back, GSM, gender sensitive minority is what he calls it. That way you cover all the alphabet. It's everybody. It's like gender sensitive minority.
Yeah, you don't have to keep adding letters.
Yeah, we don't need to have LGBTQRSTUVWXYZ. I was like, nope. GSM. I don't know if you heard the show. He's a libertarian lieutenant governor candidate for Texas, the first openly gay guy to run in the state of Texas. But he came up with GSM, so I like that a lot. But anyway, long story short is, why don't we teach that in sex ed? And and then that way you have the acceptance of it. You don't need to teach anti-bullying, which is, I just talked to a guest on the show about, earlier today, who's going to be on a later episode, that we stopped teaching conflict. It's like we like you and me are about the same age, and we come out of this phase of folks trying to raise their kids. We don't want them to go through what we went through. We want to make sure they have a perfect world where there's no hatred and it's all love. And it doesn't work that way. Violence is always going to be with us. Assholes are always going to be with us. I just this, like what you're saying with your kid coming home with it's this teacher trying to ensure that we guarantee. Like, Chris Rock has this great joke. If you have seen this special Tambourine on Netflix, I fucking highly recommend it. And he goes, and he had this great joke about Trump, and he goes, well, this is what we've been doing. He goes, I think we need more bullies in school, because we've been teaching our kids how not to bully, and no one knows how to handle a bully anymore. A real bully shows up, and now he's president of the United States. and he continues on. He's like, he goes, you know what makes diamonds? Pressure. You ever try to hug a piece of coal? You get a dirty shirt. That's what happens. You need to put pressure on the coal to get a diamond out of it. That's just the way the life goes. And I'm like, and it's true. I mean, yeah, I don't believe in bullying, and I don't believe in pointless torture of children. I mean, but fuck. I mean, how many fights have you had before high school? How many fights did you have before you got out of high school? I mean, you're gonna run into these people. And that's just an unfortunate, sad fact of life. But as long as folks feel diminished, don't have power, they got no education, they got no means, violence is always going to be there. How do you think we get dictators in the third world? Here's a guy with no education, no background, no means. How do I get power and all of that stuff? And love, because chicks will love me if I'm in power. Violence, they get a gun, bang, they got the army, boom, they're done, they're in. That's how they do it. And so to teach people that, we're going to be in this like harmony, perfect world, that's just bullshit, dude.
Well, and it's interesting you said, because this past weekend, I had some plans on Sunday, and I was at a Dodger game, and it was my ex-wife's weekend with the kids, and she was having an issue with my youngest son having a meltdown about something that related to somebody else, and she couldn't handle it, so she needed to talk to me right then. Like, we're in a 4-2 game, fighting for our lives to try to win the division. And I'm in the 5th inning, and I have to go talk to her in the middle of a baseball game. And her ultimate comment was, well, he's upset because this guy did blah, blah, blah. And I teach my kids reality, and I said, yeah, so? He needs to learn to suck that up and move forward. And if he wants to deal with the guy, have him deal with the guy.
Right.
But having a meltdown over the guy not letting him do what he wants to do is just bullshit. Like, you got to stop that, and you can't enable that. You got to stop enabling it, because all it's teaching him is that if I whine, then I get my way, and that isn't how society works. We don't just whine and get our way. And I tell when I go to Libertarian Party meetings, they always say, "Oh, we're gonna get this guy elected, and then when we get him elected, we're just gonna massively put the libertarian ideals out there." No, you're not, because you're still only one person in a large legislative body, and that's just your voice, and you're going to now have to become a real leader. Mm-hmm. and show people why your ideology is the way things should be, and convince enough people to do it your way. And if you convince enough people to do it your way, you start showing people that you can lead and govern. And that is what will create the change over time, is slowly, instead of a revolution, which makes things happen pretty much overnight, you create the revolution from within peacefully by getting in there, making a small change here. Like I said, if I had made it to the board of supervisors, one of the things I promised people was there was like a 10-person staff that each office had. I would immediately cut my staff down to 2 or 3 people, because it's my opportunity to shrink the government a little bit.
Right.
And then the next thing I would have done after a quarter is I would have gone to my colleagues and said, see, I've run my office for 3 months with 3 people, and I've saved this much money. How about you guys do the same thing? And you convince them to do that. And then you try another issue, and you make that work. And then another issue, and you make that work. Before long, things are different.
Right.
Isn't that what happens every 4 years when we change president?
Theoretically.
Yeah, if you get a new president after 4 years, direction changes. That's why I don't understand, like, love him or hate him, Trump is who he is, and he has his way of doing things. And I don't give a crap whether it's traditional or not. It's his way. And he got elected. He's basically, it's his ball now. He gets to play the game the way he wants to play the game. And if somebody else, if he steps over the line and he commits a crime, then somebody needs to put him in check. But other than that, I mean, why do I care? And the stuff about, oh, well, he used to say that Obama shouldn't do that. Yeah, so he's a hypocrite too. Oh well, we knew this already.
Well, that's where this whole like it's like this partisan shit baked into our brains. I mean, to piggyback on what you were saying a second ago about leadership, I mean, fuck, I got to go all the way back to Richard Nixon and Lyndon Johnson to show me anybody who's expended political capital to get anything done.
Yeah.
Nobody put themselves at risk. And this is what we've been doing the last couple, 3 generations, I think, like the last 40 years. Like, no one puts themselves at risk. You know what I mean? I didn't like Johnson and Nixon, you know, mostly because of Vietnam, you know, to be honest with you. And Nixon, obviously, you know, was Nixon. But now everything he did was legal between Patriot Acts 1 and 2 and the NDAA. And nobody questions that in the mainstream media. Nobody. And tell me what political capital Obama or Bush Jr. expended at all. I mean, nothing. You look at what Nixon did. You look at what Johnson did. The laws they signed for the people. And these guys weren't exactly, you know, altruistic people. You know, but I mean, Christ, Johnson did the Medicare. He did the Voting Rights Act, Civil Rights Act. You know, Nixon did OSHA and HMO and Cancer Act and all. You know, EPA. That's a Nixon deal, and you know,
yeah.
and he expended political capital to do that. Watergate was Watergate because he put his thumb in the eyes of the base, because he said, "Yeah, I'm going to do Title IX for girls." You know, they're like, "What? You out of your mind?" And then the left hated him because of Vietnam. I mean, he was completely destroyed by expending all of his political capital and having none left, right? Trump's going to survive this shit. People want to admit this.
But that's what he will. He'll also get reelected.
You know,
you heard it here.
You know, okay, Mike Mahoney is saying he's going to get reelected. I don't think he will, but I don't think he's going to get impeached because because first of all, anyone's like keeps screaming for impeachment with a Republican majority that is just as bad as the Democrats. They're like any blue will do, and they're like, you know, better red than dead to mix up the old commie phrase, but. Right. But that's how the Republicans roll, right? So and I got 2 $500 bets on this. I'm probably going to lose on the impeachment thing, but I have 2 $500 bets that when all this shit comes down in the wash, this started last summer, and I've been saying this forever, is it's all going to be about financial crap and tacky ass Russian money laundering. It's not going to be about anything to do with the election or whatever, and then the Democrats are going to have to finally admit that you cheated the Rolling Stones so that you can get One Direction to run for president, and she got her ass kicked because nobody wanted to vote for Pepsi anymore. And that's what happened. And then, you know, the Democrats could totally save their ass and have an agenda. My friends keep telling me, oh, that would never happen. That's why they don't talk about it. No, they don't talk about it because they don't want to expend political capital because they're chicken shit. But they lost because of the Electoral College. If they had any inkling for the people, they would go for ranked choice voting which would make sure that middle America votes for the president, not just California and New York, which is always the argument for the Electoral College. Get rid of the Electoral College, go to ranked choice voting, then you got a real choice system. But they don't want that. They don't want that because they take the same corporate money that Republicans do.
Right. And they all play the same game, which is if my side wants something that's good for the people and the other side blocks it, then what we're going to do is bitch to the people that we could have got that for you, but they didn't want that. And that they can be pointed in either direction.
They don't even do that anymore. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have been laying down. Nancy Pelosi in the House and Chuck Schumer in the Senate have been laying down like a $2 hooker on a hot day for everything the Republicans have been wanting to do. Everything. They haven't fought him on anything. In fact, before this whole snafu happened with Manafort, the whole Brett Kavanaugh thing, I mean, it's been 49-50 for months because McCain's been sick. If you're Chuck Schumer, I mean, and dare I say it, ask yourself what LBJ would do. Man, he had to corral all 49 of those senators, threaten their seats. I'm going to run challengers against you in your state if you don't go this way. Then you go to the Republicans and you go after the fat kids in dodgeball. You go after the you go after Murkowski. You go after what's her face in New Hampshire. You go after the 3 or 4 weak Republicans or moderate Republicans and bring them to your side. All of a sudden now you got a 52-48 majority and Kavanaugh doesn't get and that's if you want that. But if you just want to lay down, play ball, and take the corporate money because the system works for you, I mean, the DNC just got leaked out because like 3 months ago they made this big production. Oh, we're not taking fossil fuel money anymore. And then in the dead of night, about 2 weeks ago, they rescinded that, right? And it wasn't supposed to come out, but it came out. So what does that tell you? They don't want to change. They want to keep the same decrepit fucking system. They want to treat everybody in the flyover states like flyover rubes and not understand that there's actual real pain out there. Not everybody that voted for Trump, and I didn't, but not everybody that voted for Trump was a racist, misogynist, Muslim phobic piece of shit person, Nazi skinhead Charlottesville person. A lot of people voted for Trump because the neoliberal failure has destroyed their livelihood. Go to Anderson, Indiana. All right, you go to Detroit. Go to where the neoliberal failure has just exacerbated over the last 40 years and tell me that that's a one-party thing. It's the two-party system. When I say neoliberal, I don't mean liberals. I'm talking about the neoliberal failure where there's no liberals, there's no conservatives. It's just this one big corporate gangbang with this meritocracy fantasy. If you go to college, you'll get a good job and move your way up the ladder. Well, bullshit. Not when you ship the jobs overseas, you don't. Well, that's manufacturing. No, bullshit. If the carrier office closes, yeah, the engineer guy doesn't have a job there either, dumbass. So I don't know.
Well, but how do you fix this? Like example, when the Manafort verdict came out, there's a local group here of progressives that constantly bash everything that happens on the Republican side of things. And this lady was like, oh, well, that's why there's going to be a second trial, is because they're going to get him for the collusion and Trump's going to be implicated. And I said, where do you see in the indictment? I said, first of all, Manafort requested that the trial be split. He wanted it that way. It was a strategy for some reason. That's what he wanted. But number two, where do you see in the indictment anything that has to do with the election and collusion? Show that to me. And then they tried to play that, well, you're an idiot because, the prosecutor's not going to reveal their strategy. Well, maybe they won't reveal their strategy, but they got to charge you. They got to tell you what they're charging with. They can't just surprise you during trial. So, okay, how do we fix stupid people like that seem to be everywhere, that think that because some liberal media outlet that they like to listen to told them that he was going to be tried for collusion?
On a guess. And by the way,
make them understand.
By the way, Rachel Maddow, if you're listening, collusion's not a felony, you fucking knothead. It's conspiracy. What? That's the actual felony. Continue. I'm sorry.
So how do you fix that with stupid people? Like, what do we have to do? Spoon feed them their news? I mean, what's the deal? And like, by the way, because I pointed out to her, you're going to like this. Because I pointed out to her that they're not going to be trying Manafort for collusion, she posted a picture of a chimpanzee, and you know what she said next. She told me that I was a Trumpanzee and that I support Trump. And I mean, like, I read that, I laughed for a good 15 minutes.
Sure.
And then I responded back with, hey, just because someone doesn't agree with your false statement doesn't mean they support the guy you don't support.
See, but that's critical thinking. And well, but to get to the simple part of your question, and I didn't mean to be condescending when I said Mike. But Mike. Dude, you're about my age, man. It ain't going to get any better. We've always had stupid people. Yeah, it's just that's the way it's going to go down. And even the so-called educated person, especially now where you got a segmented media where people don't go for information, they go for confirmation. They just want to confirm what they fucking believe. Listen, when Obama won the election, Sean Hannity's show was Bill O'Reilly's show rather, and Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly, they were like tied for first in cable news for 8 years when Obama was president. Because all the Republicans couldn't believe it. Oh my God, a black Kenyan Muslim Marxist is in the office. Oh, they're freaking out. So they go to Sean Hannity and they're watching him. He was the number one guy. Then Trump wins. Yeah. Now every fucking dyed-in-the-wool so-called liberal who can't imagine why Hillary would have lost, and that is the height of ignorance and just tin ear. That's a tin ear. If you don't know why most of Middle America and the Rust Belt states voted for that guy because he was at least saying something, even though he was a fucking liar. He's a soft-handed half-wit who has been spoiled his entire life, had no idea what working is like, but he was at least saying something. He was at least talking about jobs. He was at least talking about getting out of Syria. He was talking about these things that were real, even though he had no intention of following through on it. But these people ran to Rachel Madcow and just doing their thing, and she's the number one show now. And I've seen her show. She guesses half this shit. It's not even theory. Because theories are at least based in fact. Yeah. She's just fucking guessing. And Mueller 2 years later, and by the way, I'm going to listen to Mueller. I'm going to listen to, he took Brennan and Clapper's and all those guys' security clearances away. Yeah, because those guys in the past were using those clearances to make money. Fuck them. And by the way, Clapper full-throated lied under oath that the United States government wasn't spying on me. And WikiLeaks proved that they were. No. That's called perjury, dick.
Well, yeah.
I mean, and by the way, when Bill Clinton got tried for perjury, which is what it wasn't a blowjob, FYI.
Right.
It was perjury over a blowjob. Okay? Clapper was nailed for perjury about spying on the American people, and nothing happened. And I don't see Anderson Cooper or Jake Tapper or any of these people freaking out about the fact that this piece of shit is wondering why his security clearance is gone. I can give a fuck.
Well, but you're right. Like you had that guy on your Facebook wall that said, "Oh, it's as long as it's for the greater good." And I'm still waiting for him to answer my question, what the greater good is, because he hasn't answered it, and he never will. Because I don't think he even knows what he means when he says if it's for the greater good. Because again, who's to decide what the greater good is anyway? I mean, are we gonna get to the point in society where every home has a button? And we're required to watch the television at 6 p.m. every night, and they're going to put up polls, and we're supposed to vote, yes or no?
Right.
Because that's the only way you're going to know what the, quote, greater good, end quote, really is,
right.
Is to ask everybody. Because I don't know about you, but, like, I travel in an interesting, eclectic circle of people,
yeah.
And I hear all the sides, and nobody agrees what the greater good is. That's why I asked him, what's the greater good? Because he can't answer that. There's no way someone can answer that question. And to say that you're okay with spying on Americans because it's for the greater good.
Right.
Let's see. The last actual on our soil confirmed terrorist act was 9/11.
That's right.
So why are we spying on Americans, and tell me how that stops saving lives and for the greater good? Like my wife and I always talk about this because she's from Canada, and so her thing is, hey, you've got nothing to hide, why do you care? Well, to an extent I agree with that.
Sure.
But it's more the precedent that it's set.
Well, because
I personally don't care if you listen to my phone conversations, but I do care if you listen to everyone's phone call.
See, and that's the thing when people say you've got nothing to hide, why do you care? It's like back in the day, right? When you see these mobsters get on, in front of like Jimmy Hoffa or whatever. He never did this, but like a lot of these guys did, because Hoffa would just say his shit, and he hated Bobby Kennedy, so he would just talk shit. But the rest of these guys, they plead the fifth, right? They would plead the Fifth. And then, Time Magazine or whoever would sit there and go, oh, what a bunch of slime bags. They're pleading the Fifth. What do they got to hide? Hey, dickhead, that law wasn't designed for those guys to be slime bags. That law was designed to prevent the government from being slime bags. That law was designed so you can't arbitrarily go after me because you don't like what I do. Because it flies into the face of your corporatocracy, for example. General Motors owns Lyft now.
Well, to take it full circle from what we've been talking about, it goes right back to the freedom of speech issue.
Right.
You have freedom of speech. It isn't to protect me from what you say about me or what I say about you. It's to protect us from we're allowed to say what we want to say about the issues we see going on in our government, the issues we see going on in our country. Mm-hmm. We're allowed to do that, and the government can't stop us from doing that.
100%.
And that's what that's about. And we can't afford to water that down. We just can't afford to water
see, people that say shit, people that say
everything will fall.
Well, and you're 100% correct, because people that say that shit to me, it's like fuck the draft. I think and quit going to Europe. I think people need to go. And I've been to countries that have martial law. I've been to Cuba, which is a communist country. Still, and I don't mean communist like China. I mean where they got this capitalism gangbang, but they're really a dictatorship now. I'm talking about flat out communism, where the information is completely controlled, and China controls a lot of it, but not like they want to. Or I was in Jordan about 30 years ago, and pictures of King Hussein was everywhere. Everywhere you go, they got a McDonald's, King Hussein. You go to Sports Locker or a Foot Locker, King Hussein. And I was like, I made a little joke about that. They fucking love the king here. And my cousin's like, shh, dude. And we get in the car. He's all, do you want to fucking disappear? Don't, And this is supposed to be one of our allies, right? It's supposed to be one of our boys, but they do their shit there. And this is what happens when you don't have freedom of speech. Like a Stephen Colbert, who has become a corporate tool, but I'm just using him because I'm thinking about it right now. But, he could never make jokes about the king like we make jokes about the president. Period. And honestly, and now now as watered down as it is, because they're all sold out. Any corporate comedian, John Oliver, Bill Maher, Samantha Bee, all those guys, they're all corporate hacks. Trevor Noah, it's not Jon Stewart anymore. Okay, it's not this. Hey man, that sucks. It's just one big corporate gangbang, a nice big tongue bathing to the Democratic Party and the DNC, and they're trying to make us sorry that we didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, not understanding that she would have been faced with her own legal challenges as president. We probably would have been in more wars, probably up to 12 now, if she was still there, because she's a total fucking hawk. No one wants to admit that. No one wants to admit her baggage. No one wants to admit her tin ear. No one wants to admit that she was packing 100 people in a fucking gym when Bernie Sanders had 35,000 people that the media wasn't even covering. They're too busy covering Donald Trump, the hand-picked opponent, thinking you got to get someone more reprehensible. And the WikiLeaks bared this out. This wasn't just Abe's Gazette, right? This is, Mike's Gazette. It was between Ted Cruz, Ben Carson, Donald Trump. Get one of those three, Hillary's a guaranteed win. And with $2 billion and 57-2 newspapers endorsing Hillary over Trump, 57-2 was the ratio. And the $2 billion that she had, which, by the way, on a side note, you remember that Donna Brazile book about 6-7 months ago?
Right.
Remember that book?
Yeah.
How she pointed out that Hillary ganked all the fucking cash from the DNC to the down ballot races and channeled them out of an office in Brooklyn. Remember that?
Yeah, no.
That's campaign finance fraud, man. You cheated the down ballot races for your own personal gain. You controlled the money. In her book, she flat out said how the Hillary campaign controlled all the money. Why are they being investigated for campaign finance fraud?
No one's interested.
Yeah,
that's not their hot button.
And okay, and why? Why is that? We got a few minutes here. I mean, that's the isn't that interesting? When you talk about people being dumb, it's like they're dumb on purpose. They want to be dumb by half. They're just not even trying.
Some people are dumb on purpose. Some people are just dumb. But Jeff, I think ignorance is so prevalent that I feel like a good chunk of it has to be by choice. You just choose to look the other way. You have discussions with people and you make valid points, and they'll say, well, but my opinion is, well, that's great, but why don't you deal with the factual things I presented to you? And then see if maybe your opinion, maybe it's not valid.
That's too pesky.
But see, I get in trouble for that because I'm one who believes an opinion can be wrong. A lot of people say, well, an opinion can't be wrong because it's an opinion. I disagree because, if it's my opinion that the sky is actually black all of the time, and someone can give me facts that that's not true, well, then my opinion is, what? Wrong. So, there's things about opinions that can be wrong. And people don't want to admit to that, and they just want to hide their head in the sand, and they want to believe all their stuff. Like my daughter's boyfriend is from Australia, and we got into a big discussion on Sunday about gun control. And he had to admit that everything everyone says about homicide rates in Australia is true. It didn't go down when they banned the gun. But at the beginning, it was his opinion that it would reduce the homicide rate.
Right.
But I got to give him credit. He changed his opinion after we had the discussion. That's what more people need to do. And that's why when you ask, why doesn't anyone care? Well, their opinion is that Hillary was the one who should have won. And so bringing any kind of investigation against her right now, in their words, doesn't matter because she's not the president.
We'll see, but that's where but when you, because we got to start wrapping up here in a couple minutes, but you made a point a second ago, excuse me, I want to apologize because we had this big agenda we're going to go through, but whatever. But we had this, like a second ago, you said, how people's, they say it, they believe it, so everyone's opinion is just right because it's their opinion. That gets back to that whole catering that we've been fucking doing, and now we treat stupid like a theory. You know what I mean? Like it's like getting news does this shit all the time with like climate science denying, right? Like so they'll get like Bill Nye or somebody, a science guy, on the show on MSNBC with like Brian Williams or some shit, or Anderson Cooper on CNN, and then they'll get the anti-science or climate denying guy, and they'll debate, and then the guy in the middle will go, well, I guess we'll never know. Yeah, no, dude. On Sunday, the Bengals fucking won on Sunday. I'm not going to get the coaches of both teams to go, hey, so what happened? Well, I guess we won't know who won the game then. We don't do that. Anywhere else.
Great analogy.
I stole that analogy, and the original guy used baseball, but I've been carrying it with me for the last last 6 months. I guess if you still
there are things.
Yeah. There are things that are not.
There are opinions that are not based in fact.
Right.
And and there are facts that contradict opinions that you kind of have to say, well, then maybe you shouldn't hold that opinion any longer because the facts say otherwise.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. It's like these idiots want to teach creation in school as though it's a valid theory. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, well, evolution's just really a theory. Yeah, but it's a theory with more fucking facts. There's actual bones and stuff. I don't have a fig leaf with Adam's DNA on it, do I? If I did, I'd be, oh, shit, I guess creation happened. This fig leaf is 6,000 years old, and it's Adam's DNA. We got proof. Awesome. That's called science, dickhead. Anyway, hey, listen, guys, start wrapping up here. Mike, do me a favor real quick. Tell people where they can find Liberty Revealed. Well,
it's really great. You can go to yogispodcastnetwork.com. It's YOGISNETWORK.com. And all of our podcasts are there. It's a little podcast network that we run. And there's a couple political ones there. There's a couple non-political ones there, but it's a good time. You've been on my nightly rant show. Hopefully I can get you on one or two of the others. We have a good time, and I'm really focusing on Liberty Revealed right now because I feel like our rights in our country are slowly being eroded, and that's what the whole basis of that podcast is. Here's a topic, and here's how it affects our rights, and here's what you can do to make sure it doesn't affect our rights. So, get a listen to that when you can, and thanks for having me.
Not a problem. And we will put that link in the body of the show description. Folks, my guest has been Mike Mahoney. He's the host of Liberty Revealed, among a few other shows. Championship guy, great American citizen, a real patriot because he actually asks questions, and I'm not one to like rah patriotism, but if you're going to be a patriot, ask some fucking questions. Again, we can be found on patreon.com/thebittertruth. And as always, guys, if this stuff makes you uncomfortable, it's supposed to. Sleep tight.